I still can't believe you're actually leaving, I whispered, watching Claire pack the last of her books into a navy blue suitcase. The sound of the zipper closing felt like a door shutting inside my chest. She smiled, though her eyes shimmered. It's only 2 years, Ethan. I'll come back before you know it. 2 years is forever when the person you love is halfway across the world, I muttered. She turned, walking over to me, brushing her fingers through my hair. You make it sound like I'm disappearing. London isn't the moon. It might as well be, I said quietly. I just don't know how to wake up without hearing your voice. You'll hear it, she said softly. Every call, every message, I'll be there, promise. I forced a smile, though my stomach churned. You better keep that promise. Her phone buzzed with another reminder from the airline app. She sighed. I guess this is really happening. Yeah, I said, forcing a laugh. You, the big scholar. London won't know what hit it. You mean they won't know what you lost, she teased. We both laughed, but it faded too quickly. I stared at her, memorizing every detail. Her honey brown eyes, the way her hair caught the light, the small scar near her lip. I wanted to freeze that moment. Let's go, I said. One last night under the oak tree before you become too important for me. She rolled her eyes but smiled. You're impossible. The old oak stood at the edge of the park near my house, its thick branches bending like it had been listening to lovers for decades. We'd carved our initials there 2 summers ago, when the world still felt small and certain. Claire sat cross-legged on the grass. Do you remember what you said when we first sat here? That I'd marry you one day, I said, smiling. She laughed softly. You were so sure of everything back then. I still am, I said, trying to believe it. She tilted her head. Ethan, what if things change? What if I change? I froze. Why would you say that? I don't know, she murmured, picking at the grass. People grow when they leave. Maybe distance changes how we see things. I tried to sound calm. Then we'll grow together, just in different time zones, she smiled sadly. You make it sound simple. It is simple, I said firmly. I love you. You love me. The rest is noise. Claire looked up, her eyes reflecting the dim orange sky. You always make me feel safe when you talk like that. Then promise me something, I said. Promise you'll come back the same person. She leaned closer. And you promise you'll still be waiting? I'll wait forever if I have to. For a while, neither of us spoke. The breeze carried the faint smell of rain, and the distant city lights flickered through the branches. I didn't want to think about airports or time zones, just her hand in mine. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small box. I wanted to give you this before I go. Inside was a leather bracelet, simple, brown, with our initials engraved on a small silver plate. Whenever you miss me, hold it, she said. I'll be holding mine too. My throat tightened. You're really making it hard to let you go. That's the point, she whispered, smiling through her tears. I slipped the bracelet on. Now you have to come back. Otherwise, I'll look ridiculous wearing this forever. She laughed, wiping her eyes. Idiot. We stayed there until the streetlights came on, our fingers intertwined, talking about stupid things, what we'd eat when she visited home, what shows we'd binge together online. Anything to avoid the silence that reminded us the night was ending. When I finally walked her home, the air felt heavier with every step. Her house glowed with warm light through the curtains. I could see her parents moving inside, preparing for the morning flight. She stopped at the gate and turned to me. You'll come to the airport, right? Of course, I said quickly. You think I'd let you go without a dramatic goodbye? Don't make a scene, she said, laughing. I'll just cry quietly in the corner. She smiled, and for a second the tension melted. But then she reached up, her hand trembling slightly as it touched my cheek. Ethan, no matter what happens, I want you to remember that I love you. No matter what happens, I repeated. You make it sound like you're going to war. Maybe I am, she said softly. Against time, distance, everything. I tried to laugh, but something in her tone unsettled me. You'll win. You always do. Her eyes lingered on mine a little too long, as if she wanted to say something else but didn't. Then she stepped back. Good night, Ethan. Good night, I said. I watched her disappear inside. The door closed, and I stood there under the porch light until my father's voice broke the silence behind me. She's leaving tomorrow, isn't she? Yeah, he nodded, his face unreadable. Distance changes people, son, I forced a grin. Not us, he sighed. You'll see. I wanted to argue, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, I looked at the bracelet on my wrist and whispered to myself, she won't change. She can't, but deep down, something cold twisted in my stomach. I pushed it away. Love, I thought, is about trust, and I trusted her completely. I shouldn't have. Morning, love, I typed, half smiling at the glowing screen. It was 7 a.m. here, midnight in London. She'd probably be asleep. I hit send anyway, like I always did. By noon, no reply. At night, I opened her chat again, still no seen mark. I called, waited through 4 rings before it went to voicemail. Hey, Claire, just checking in. Hope classes are going okay. Call me when you can, yeah? The next morning, a text finally came. Sorry, babe. Super busy. Group project chaos. Love you, I exhaled, smiling weakly. Of course you're busy, I murmured to myself. You're chasing your dream. Weeks passed with that same rhythm, tiny messages, scattered calls. She'd laugh, talk about her classes, her new friends, her mentor. You'd like them, she'd say. They're fun, like you. I wanted to be happy for her, but every time her face flickered on my laptop screen, I saw the distance in her eyes. You okay? I asked one night during a video call. Yeah, she said quickly. Just exhausted. Deadlines are insane here. You could have told me you'd be offline for a few days. I was worried. Ethan, please. Don't make this a big deal. I'm doing my best, her tone stung. I wasn't accusing, I know, she sighed, softening. I just need to focus right now. It's different here, I nodded, pretending to understand. But when the call ended, I sat there staring at my reflection on the black screen, whispering, you sound different too. Days became blurrier. Our nightly calls turned into weekly ones. My messages went from paragraphs to sentences. Hers turned into emojis. Ava noticed before I admitted it to myself. You look like a ghost lately, she said, handing me coffee in the office break room. I'm fine, I said. Fine, she repeated, raising an eyebrow. You've checked your phone 5 times since I walked in. I'm waiting for Claire to text back. She's probably asleep. She's been asleep for 3 days? I glared at her, but she just smiled sadly. Ethan, love shouldn't make you beg for attention. It's not like that, I insisted. She's working hard. I should be proud. Maybe, Ava said softly. But you sound like you're trying to convince yourself. Her words clung to me like fog. That night, I messaged Claire again. Miss you, let's talk soon? The next day, no reply. 3 days later, still nothing. On the 4th day, a voice note appeared. Hey, sorry! My Wi-Fi's been awful. I'll call when I can. Don't worry, okay? Her voice felt distant, like she was speaking from another life. When she finally called that weekend, the background noise was loud. Music, laughter, voices. Are you at a party? I asked. Yeah, kind of, she said, shouting over the noise. Just a little get-together. I needed a break. Can we talk later then? Sure, love you, she said before hanging up. The line went dead before I could say it back. I sat on my couch for an hour, phone in hand, replaying that call in my mind. Every laugh in the background stabbed deeper than it should have. Ava called that night. You sound off. Everything okay? She's just... busy, I said. Busy, Ava repeated slowly. Or distracted. She loves me, I said. That hasn't changed. Ava didn't argue. She just whispered, I hope you're right. After that, silence became the new normal. I'd wake up, check my phone, see nothing, scroll through our old chats, and reread her old I miss yous until they felt like lies. One evening, I messaged again. Just wanted to hear your voice, sent. No reply. Another week passed. My heart started counting days like wounds, one for every time she didn't respond. I tried calling. Straight to voicemail, I left a message. Claire, if you're okay, just say something. Anything. Nothing. Ava dropped by my place unannounced one night with takeout. You look awful, she said. Thanks, I muttered. Eat something, she said, sitting beside me. When was the last time you talked to her? 18 days, I said before realizing I'd counted. Ava sighed. You can't keep waiting for a ghost. She's not a ghost, I said, my voice breaking. She's just... lost for a bit. She looked at me quietly. Maybe she's not lost, Ethan. Maybe she's just gone. I swallowed hard. Don't say that. She reached over, taking the phone from my shaking hands. You can't live like this. I promised I'd wait, I whispered. She'll come back. Ava's eyes softened. And if she doesn't? Then I'll still be here, I said. Because love doesn't disappear that easily. She didn't argue anymore. She just leaned back and whispered, I hope you're right. That night, I lay in bed staring at the bracelet on my wrist. The silver plate caught the moonlight, mocking me with its shine. Whenever you miss me, hold it, she'd said. I held it so tight my palm hurt. But no message came, no call, no sound, just the quiet hum of my phone screen glowing in the dark. Waiting like me, and still like a fool, I whispered, Good night, Claire. Maybe she lost her phone, I said out loud, staring at the unread messages stacked on my screen. Maybe she's busy, I added, forcing a laugh that sounded nothing like me. But when 2 weeks passed with no reply, no call, no post, I stopped pretending. I sent an email. Hey Claire, just checking in. Haven't heard from you. Hope you're okay. No response. I tried again. Please just let me know you're safe. Nothing. By the third week, my hands shook every time I unlocked my phone. At work, I stared at my laptop, the cursor blinking like it knew how useless I'd become. Ava noticed. You're barely eating, she said, dropping a sandwich on my desk. You've lost weight. I'm fine. You said that last week. And the week before? She's just swamped, I said quietly. You know how she gets when she's stressed. Ava folded her arms. You've sent her how many messages now? I stopped counting. Ethan, don't say it, I snapped. Her eyes softened. I just don't want to watch you fall apart. I'm not falling apart, I said. I just need answers. But even as I said it, I knew I was lying. A month passed. Then another. No word. Some nights I'd dial her number and hang up before it rang. Some nights I let it ring until it went to voicemail just to hear her voice. Hey, it's Claire. Leave a message. Every time I heard it, it felt less real. One night, half drunk on exhaustion, I opened her social media page. Still nothing new. But then a notification blinked. Claire was tagged in a photo. My heart jumped. I tapped it. The picture loaded slowly, like it was torturing me on purpose. Claire, her hair longer, her smile bright, her hand resting on a guy's shoulder, his name, Ryan Blake, the caption, best study partner ever. Couldn't survive finals without you. I zoomed in. Her bracelet caught the light, the same silver one she'd given me before she left. My throat closed. I stared at the screen until Ava's voice broke through. You've been quiet for an hour. What happened? I didn't answer. I just turned the phone toward her. Her eyes flicked to the picture. Ethan? She's smiling, I said softly. Look, she looks happy. Ava hesitated. Who's the guy? Ryan Blake, some classmate, I guess. You guess? I forced a laugh. Yeah, probably just a group project thing. She always works late with people. It's normal. Ava didn't reply. I kept talking, filling the silence with denial. She wouldn't do that, she promised. She told me I was her home. Ava's voice dropped. Home doesn't disappear for 2 months. I looked away. You don't know her like I do, she sighed. You're right. But I know what it looks like when someone stops trying. My voice cracked. She wouldn't stop trying. Ethan, she wouldn't, I repeated louder this time. You think I don't see it? That picture, that smile, it's killing me, but I can't believe she meant to hurt me. Ava's hand touched mine. I think you're trying to make sense of something that broke you. My phone buzzed, just a work email. My heart still leaped. Pathetic. She wore it, I whispered. What? The bracelet. The one she gave me. She's wearing it in that photo. Ava's voice softened. Maybe she wears it because it still means something. Or maybe she forgot it even means anything, I said bitterly. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Suffocating. I stood up, pacing. Should I message her again? Ethan, just one more time. Maybe she'll see it. Maybe she lost her password or her phone or she didn't lose you, Ava said quietly. She let go, I froze. The words hit harder than I expected. You don't know that. She stood too, eyes glistening. I know what silence means, and this is screaming, I laughed weakly. You think she's with him? Ava hesitated. I think you already know. My chest tightened. I sat down, burying my face in my hands. I waited. Every day I waited, Ava knelt beside me. I know. I kept telling myself she was busy. That she'd call. That she still loved me. I know, she whispered again. And now, my voice cracked. Now I don't even know who she is anymore. Ava's arms wrapped around me, gentle, steady. You deserve someone who shows up, she said. I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because deep down I knew she was right. But knowing didn't stop the ache. That night, I sat alone with the photo still open. Her smile burned behind my eyes. That hand on his shoulder replaying over and over. I whispered her name once, just to hear it in the air.
Claire? No reply.
Not even an echo. Just silence. Loud, endless, cruel. And for the first time I realized silence could scream louder than words ever could. The airport smelled like coffee and rain. I stood near the arrival gate holding a bouquet of lilies, her favorite. My palms were sweaty, a year. A whole year without seeing her face. She'll be happy to see you, Mrs. Dawson said beside me. Claire's mother looked older, her smile strained. I hope so, I murmured. Mark, her father, gave a stiff nod. She's been quiet lately. Just be patient with her. Quiet? I repeated. Is she okay? He exchanged a look with his wife. You'll see. I frowned but didn't ask more. My eyes stayed fixed on the sliding glass doors. When they opened, a wave of people poured out, laughing, hugging, dragging luggage. Then I saw her, Claire. My breath caught. She looked different. Her hair was duller, tied in a messy bun. Her eyes, once so full of light, seemed tired. She wore an oversized hoodie that hung awkwardly over her frame. Claire! I called, stepping forward, the flowers trembling in my hand. She froze when she saw me. For a second, her lips parted as if to smile, but then she looked away. Hey, I said softly when she reached me. You made it back! Yeah, she whispered. Her voice cracked. I tried to hand her the bouquet. These are for you. She hesitated, then took them, holding them close to her chest. Thank you. There was a pause. A long, uncomfortable one. I forced a smile. You look different. I guess London changes people, she said, eyes darting everywhere but mine. I missed you every day, I said. Every single one, she nodded. I know, something felt off. Her posture, her tone, the way she avoided my gaze, it all screamed distance. Claire, I said quietly. What's wrong? Nothing. Don't lie to me. She swallowed hard. Ethan, not here! Mrs. Dawson put a hand on her daughter's shoulder. Let's get the bags, sweetheart, Mark sighed. We'll wait by the car. When they walked off, it was just us, standing in a crowded airport that suddenly felt too empty. Talk to me, I said. Please. Her fingers tightened around the bouquet. You shouldn't have come, I blinked. What? She looked down. I didn't expect you to be here. Claire, I've waited a year. Of course I'd be here. Her shoulders shook. You don't understand. Then make me understand, I said, voice trembling. Why the silence? Why no calls? Why act like I don't exist? She bit her lip, eyes glistening. I can't do this. Can't do what? Her chest rose and fell rapidly. Face you. Why not? She didn't answer. Instead, she shifted slightly, her hoodie stretching across her stomach. That's when I saw it. The curve. Subtle but undeniable. My heart stopped. Claire. My voice came out as a whisper. You're... She closed her eyes, tears spilling down her cheeks. I stepped back, my whole body trembling. You're pregnant! The bouquet slipped from her hands, lilies scattering across the airport floor. Ethan, whose is it? I choked out. Tell me! She shook her head violently. It's not what you think. Then what is it? My voice broke, drawing stares from strangers. Tell me it's not true, please. Her lips quivered. I made mistakes. Mistakes? My laugh was hollow. You disappeared for months, Claire. You stopped answering, stopped caring, and now you're standing here, pregnant, and you call it a mistake? Her tears fell faster. I didn't mean for it to happen. Who? I demanded. Just tell me who. She looked away, shaking. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. She met my eyes then, red, swollen, full of shame. His name's Ryan. The sound of that name was a blade. I stepped back like she'd hit me. Ryan Blake? She nodded weakly. My mouth went dry. I felt like I was drowning in the middle of the airport, surrounded by people who didn't care that my whole world had just imploded. You said you loved me, I whispered. I did, she said, voice barely audible. Don't, I cut her off. Don't you dare say that! Ethan, I'm so sorry. I shook my head, fighting to breathe. When? How long? After the second semester, she said through sobs. I was lonely. I was stupid. He was just there, my vision blurred. And I was here, waiting, praying, defending you to everyone who said you'd moved on. She sobbed harder. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did. My words came out flat. You destroyed me. Her knees buckled slightly and she whispered, I wish I could undo it. Yeah, I said. So do I. Mrs. Dawson appeared, concern etched across her face. Is everything all right? Claire wiped her face quickly. Yeah, Mom, just emotional. Mark's jaw tightened as he glanced between us. Let's go, Claire. She nodded, avoiding my eyes. As they walked away, I stood frozen. The flowers lay crushed at my feet. The scent of lilies twisting my stomach. Ava's words echoed in my head. You deserve someone who shows up. But Claire had come back only to prove she never would again. When she disappeared into the crowd, something inside me went quiet. Not the kind of quiet that waits, the kind that ends. I didn't sleep that night. I just stared at the ceiling, hearing her voice over and over. His name's Ryan. The next morning, Claire texted me. Can we talk? Please, I should have ignored it, but I needed answers. When I arrived at her house, Mrs. Dawson opened the door. Her eyes were cold. You shouldn't have come, Ethan. I need to hear it from her, I said quietly. She sighed. She's been through enough. So have I muttered, stepping past her before she could stop me. Claire was sitting on the couch, clutching a blanket. She looked pale, trembling. Ethan, she whispered, thank you for coming. Don't thank me, I said. Just talk, she wiped her eyes, voice cracking. It happened during my second semester. I was homesick, depressed. Ryan helped me with assignments, took me out when I felt alone. One night, after a fight with my professor, we went to a party. I drank too much. I barely remember how it started. I clenched my fists. So it wasn't love? She shook her head fast. No, it wasn't, I swear. It was a mistake, a horrible, stupid mistake. I regretted it the second it happened. And you didn't think I deserved to know? I was scared, she whispered. I thought you'd hate me. I laughed bitterly. And lying to me fixed that? Her shoulders slumped. When I found out I was pregnant, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to tell you, but every time I tried, I couldn't breathe. I thought I'd lose you forever. You already did, I said softly. Her face crumpled. Ethan, please, I still love you. Love? My voice cracked. You don't cheat on someone you love. I didn't mean for it to happen, she sobbed. You have to believe me. I don't know what to believe anymore. She reached for my hand. Please don't walk away. I'll raise this child alone. I'll fix everything. I pulled my hand back. You can't fix this. You killed what we had. She froze, tears dripping silently onto the blanket. Mrs. Dawson stormed in then, eyes blazing. Ethan, haven't you done enough? She's pregnant and broken. You should have been there for her. I turned to her, stunned. Me? I called her every night. I waited for months. I never gave up. She's the one who disappeared. She needed someone better, Mrs. Dawson snapped. Someone mature enough to understand her dreams. Someone like Ryan, right? I said coldly, her face went stiff. Ryan made a mistake too, but he's taking responsibility. I laughed bitterly. Of course he is, Claire covered her face. Mom, stop, please. Mrs. Dawson glared at me. You always blame the world when things didn't go your way. Maybe this is karma for neglecting her. My throat tightened. I would have given her everything. But not enough, she said sharply. Before I could reply, I heard a familiar voice from the doorway. That's enough, Mrs. Dawson. Ava stood there, arms crossed, eyes burning. You don't get to talk to him like that, Mrs. Dawson scowled. And who are you to interfere? The person who watched him fall apart while your daughter ghosted him, Ava shot back. The person who answered his calls when he cried at 2 a.m. because Claire wouldn't. Please, Claire sobbed. Stop fighting, Ava ignored her. You hurt him, Claire. And now your mother wants to make him the villain?
No, I whispered. Ava, it's fine. It's not fine, she said.
You've been blaming yourself since she left. But look at her, Ethan. She didn't just make a mistake, she abandoned you. Claire looked at me, eyes swollen. Ethan, don't let her turn you against me. I stared at her, at the woman I once loved, the woman now carrying another man's child. You don't need anyone to turn me against you, I said quietly. You did that yourself. Her sobs filled the room, but I felt nothing. No anger, no pity. Just emptiness. Ava touched my arm. Let's go. I nodded slowly. Mrs. Dawson hissed, "Coward." I stopped at the door and turned. No, staying would make me one. We left without another word. Outside, the air felt heavy, almost cruel. Ava exhaled shakily. You okay? No, I admitted. But I will be, she nodded. You don't have to face this alone. For the first time in months, I believed her. As we walked away, I looked down at my wrist, the bracelet Claire had given me a year ago. I pulled it off and let it fall into the gutter. Ava didn't say anything. She just slipped her hand into mine. And for once, silence didn't hurt. It healed. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ryan Blake's smirk, the man who'd wrecked everything I thought was pure. I booked my ticket to London before dawn, hands trembling as I pressed confirm purchase. When I landed, the city felt colder than I remembered. My heart pounded as I texted the address he once tagged on his photos. Ryan Blake, University of London Campus Cafe, 4 p.m. My chest tightened. At 4 sharp, he was there, leaning back, laughing with 2 girls, confident, untouchable. I walked straight toward him. Ryan Blake? I said. He turned lazily. Yeah? Do I know you? You do now, I muttered, sitting across from him uninvited. He smirked. You look tense. Girlfriend trouble? The word girlfriend hit like glass in my throat. You could say that. Then relax, mate. Happens to all of us, I leaned forward. Claire Dawson. He froze for a second, then chuckled. Ah, so you're him. My jaw clenched. The one she left behind. She didn't exactly leave, did she? She made a choice. People move on. My fingers curled into fists. You call what you did helping her? He shrugged. She was lonely. I was there. You can't hold that against her, or me. I can and I do, I snapped. You destroyed something you didn't even understand. He tilted his head, amused. You sound like a schoolboy who just learned life's unfair. Life's not unfair, I said quietly. People like you are. He laughed, a deep, careless sound that made my blood burn. She wasn't innocent, you know. Don't romanticize her. She wanted it. Shut up. Why? Because it ruins your fairy tale? He sneered. Grow up. You were never enough for her. Some women outgrow their first loves, I stood. My chair scraped the floor violently. For a second, I imagined my fist connecting with his jaw, just once, enough to break something. But I didn't. I forced my voice steady. You'll understand pain, I said. When you lose something you can't replace. He smirked again. I doubt it. I left before my rage could swallow me whole. The cold air outside slapped my face, reminding me I was still human. My breath came in sharp bursts. I walked aimlessly until my phone buzzed, an email from Professor Helen Wright, the department head Claire once mentioned. Mr. Reed, I heard you're in London. I think it's time you know the full story. I almost deleted it. But something inside whispered, you need to know. When I arrived at her office, Professor Wright looked older than I'd imagined. Tired eyes, kind smile, stacks of papers everywhere. Ethan Reed? She asked gently. Yes, I said. You said you had something to tell me, she sighed. Sit down. The silence between us was heavy. Then she said, Ryan Blake has a history. You're not the first one whose life he's poisoned. I frowned. What do you mean? 3 of his classmates reported him for manipulation, emotional, sometimes physical. But he's clever. He never leaves proof. My stomach twisted. And Claire? She was one of his targets, she said carefully. He knows how to find vulnerability. Homesick students, girls who feel unseen. He makes them feel special, then destroys them when they depend on him. I pressed my palms together. So she wasn't lying about being drunk? He took advantage of her. Partly yes, she admitted. But Claire never told anyone the full story. She felt guilty for letting it happen. That's why she left. Shame eats people alive. I stared at the floor. Every word dug deeper. She told me she still loved me, I whispered. She probably did, the professor said softly. But love and guilt can look the same when you're drowning. I looked up. Why didn't anyone stop him? Power, she said bitterly. Connections. Ryan's father funds 2 research programs here. People keep quiet, I laughed hollowly. So he gets to walk free while we break? Her eyes softened. Sometimes the only justice left is transformation. Don't let him define your story, I nodded slowly. That's hard to hear when everything feels ruined. I know, she said. But pain changes people, Ethan. Don't waste it. I stood, gripping the chair for balance. Thank you, Professor. As I walked out, her last words echoed in my head. Don't waste it. The city lights blurred through my tears. For the first time, I didn't feel like the victim of their choices. I felt awake. Maybe Claire wasn't the villain. Maybe Ryan wasn't the monster he thought he was untouchable from. Maybe I'd been living in a lie where love was supposed to fix broken people, but it doesn't. It only exposes the cracks. That night, I sat by the Thames, watching the black water shimmer. I whispered into the wind, You took everything from me, Ryan, but not who I'm becoming. And for the first time in months, I meant it. Months passed. The world kept moving even when I thought mine had stopped. Work became my anchor. Therapy became my mirror. And Ava, she became the quiet voice reminding me I could breathe again. Still thinking about them? She asked one evening as we sat in my apartment, coffee steaming between us. Sometimes, I admitted. Not like before, though. It's distant now. That's progress, she smiled. You don't have to forget to heal. I know, I said softly. I just wish I could erase how small I felt. She looked at me for a long second. You were never small, Ethan. You were just made to believe you were. I nodded, letting her words sink in. For the first time in a long while, they didn't sting. They settled. Work picked up fast. Lucas Reed, my project manager, became both mentor and friend. You've got a good eye for leadership, he told me during one late-night meeting. I chuckled. Or maybe I just learned what bad leadership looks like. He grinned. Pain makes good teachers. One Monday morning, as I scrolled through my emails, a headline stopped me cold. Ryan Blake under investigation for fraud. Fiancée Anna Blake exposes double life. My heart thudded once, then steadied. I clicked the article. Anna Blake, daughter of a major investor, revealed evidence of Ryan Blake's corporate fraud and multiple affairs. Reports claim several women are involved, including former academic associates. Holy, I muttered under my breath. Ava peeked over my shoulder. Is that him? I nodded slowly. Ryan Blake. Looks like karma finally found him, she frowned. Do you feel relieved? I thought for a moment. Not really. It's strange. I don't feel anything. Maybe that's peace, she said gently. The more I read, the clearer it became. Ryan's empire had crumbled overnight. Bank accounts frozen, investors gone, and Anna's statement went viral. The woman he once boasted about was now the one who ended him. A part of me wanted to feel satisfaction, but all I could feel was quiet. The kind of silence that comes when a storm finally passes. Later that day, Lucas walked into my office with his phone in hand. You're trending, he said, half smiling. What? Me? He handed me the phone. Claire's name was in the headlines now. Former scholar Claire Dawson involved in Blake case, career on hold. I swallowed hard. She didn't deserve that, I whispered. Lucas raised an eyebrow. After what she did? She made mistakes, I said. But I'm not here to celebrate anyone's fall. He nodded slowly. That's strength, man. Most people wouldn't react like that. It's not strength, I said quietly. It's exhaustion. Revenge doesn't fix anything. That evening, Ava called. You okay? I think so, I replied. You sound distant. I just read Claire's statement. She said she regrets not standing up against Ryan. She admitted she was manipulated and ashamed. Ava was silent for a while. Then, do you believe her? I think I finally don't need to, I said. Belief or doubt, it doesn't change what happened. She exhaled softly. You've changed, Ethan. I had to, I said. Hate was eating me alive. The next morning, sunlight poured through my blinds. I made coffee without the shaking hands, opened my laptop without dread. My reflection in the screen looked different. Still me, but steadier. I opened a blank document and typed, "Redemption isn't about them. It's about reclaiming yourself." Ava called again later. "Lucas said your proposal got approved." "Yeah," I said with a small smile. "We're expanding the program next month," she laughed. "Look at you, moving forward," I chuckled. "Maybe karma needed me to watch, not act." "You think that's what this is? Karma?" "Maybe. Or maybe it's just the world balancing itself." She paused. "So what now? Now?" I looked out the window at the quiet city. Now I live. That's revenge enough. That night, before bed, I saw one last update. Ryan Blake had been arrested. The article showed him handcuffed, head down, surrounded by flashing lights. Underneath, a small note, "Anna Blake files for divorce." I stared for a moment, then closed my phone. No anger. No joy, just silence, I whispered to the dark. "You took everything from me once, but now I have peace, and that's something you'll never know." For the first time in years, I slept without dreaming. The air felt different that morning, clean, almost forgiving. A year had passed since everything fell apart, yet somehow the ache inside me had softened into something gentler. I parked near the hill, where the old oak tree still stood tall, its branches spread wide like it had been waiting for me. As I walked closer, I froze. Someone was already there. "Claire?" She turned, startled. Her hair was shorter now, her face thinner. In her arms, a small baby slept, wrapped in a pale blue blanket. "Ethan," she whispered. "I didn't think you'd come." "I didn't think you'd be here either." My eyes fell on her hand, the bracelet, cracked but still glinting faintly. "I found it in my drawer last week," she said quietly. "Thought I should bring it here. One last time." We stood in silence for a while, listening to the rustle of leaves. The same spot where we'd once promised forever now felt like the end of a long war. "He's beautiful," I said finally, nodding toward her baby. Her eyes filled instantly. "His name's Noah," I smiled faintly. "Good name," she shifted, looking down. "I didn't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it." I took a deep breath. "You're right." "You don't," her shoulders trembled. I know. But," I continued softly, "I forgave you anyway." She blinked, confused. "Why?" "Because I couldn't live hating you anymore," I said. "It was killing me, not you." She bit her lip, tears spilling. "I think about that night every day, about how I ruined everything. I wish I could go back." "I used to wish that too," I admitted. "But maybe we were never meant to last. Maybe we were just meant to learn." Claire nodded slowly, her voice trembling. "You were the only person who ever saw me for who I was, and I destroyed that." "Maybe," I said gently, "but you also helped me find who I could be." She looked at me, eyes wide. "You still talk like the man I fell in love with." "I'm not him anymore," I replied. "That version of me died a long time ago." Her hand brushed the bracelet. "I thought this meant forever." "It did," I said. "Just not the forever we imagined." Noah stirred in her arms, and she rocked him gently. "He's innocent in all this," she whispered. "I know," I said. "Don't let my forgiveness be wasted, Claire. Be better for him." She nodded, tears dripping onto Noah's blanket. "Do you hate me?" I shook my head. "No, I hate what happened. But not you. Not anymore," her voice cracked. "You sound free." "I am," I said simply. "For the first time I am." She reached out, hesitating. Can I hug you?" For a moment I thought about stepping back, but instead I let her. The hug was brief, soft, full of things that words couldn't fix. When she pulled away, I saw peace in her eyes, fragile, but real. "I'm sorry, Ethan," she said again. "I know," I whispered, "and I hope someday you forgive yourself too." As I turned to leave, she called out, "Will I ever see you again?" "Maybe," I said without turning. "But even if you don't, just know I'm okay." I walked down the hill, the sun breaking through the clouds. Each step felt lighter, as if the ground itself was letting me go. A familiar voice called my name near the car. "So you finally said it?" Ava leaned against the hood, her hair catching the sunlight. Yeah, I said. I did. Her smile was small, knowing. How do you feel? Like I've been holding my breath for years, I said, exhaling. And I finally let it out. She studied my face. No more ghosts? Just lessons, I replied. Ava stepped closer. Then maybe it's time to live again. Maybe, I said with a faint smile. But this time slower, she laughed softly. I can live with that. As we got into the car, I looked one last time at the oak tree in the distance. Claire was still there, holding her child, her silhouette framed by golden light. For the first time, the memory didn't hurt. It just existed. Let's go, I said. Ava started the engine and the road stretched ahead, quiet, open, full of possibilities. Sometimes love isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go, and I finally had. It's strange how peace feels when it finally settles in. It doesn't roar like victory. It whispers. After that day under the oak tree, life moved on, and for the first time, I didn't chase it. I built my own design firm, starting from a small studio apartment with nothing but an old laptop and a heart that still ached. Now, 2 years later, that same firm has clients across cities. I travel often, Paris, New York, Tokyo, and each place feels like another page in a story that finally belongs to me. Ava once asked, "Do you ever think of her anymore?" I paused, staring out the window of my office. Sometimes, I said, but not with anger. She smiled faintly. That's progress, I nodded. It's peace. The truth is, I stopped counting the days since Claire left. Her absence no longer burns. It simply exists like a scar that reminds me I survived. I heard she moved abroad again, France this time, with her child. She teaches art at a local school. I didn't feel bitterness when I found out, just acceptance. One evening after a long day at work, I came home and found my old phone in a drawer. Dusty, cracked, but still working. I turned it on out of curiosity. The screen lit up, and there they were. Our old messages. Promise me forever. Always. I'll wait for you. I read through them slowly, like watching an old movie I'd once loved but outgrown. My reflection on the screen looked calm, older, maybe even wiser. I whispered, "You taught me what love shouldn't feel like." The words didn't sting, they set me free. A few days later, Ava joined me on a business trip to Milan. She'd become my constant, steady, patient, unassuming. We'd been spending more time together, not as something labeled, but as two people who simply understood each other's silences. At dinner, she raised her glass. "To surviving heartbreak?" she said with a grin. I laughed. "And to building something from it," she tilted her head. "Do you ever wish things turned out differently?" "Sometimes," I said. "But then I remember who I became because of it. Who's that?" She teased. I smiled. "A man who doesn't beg to be loved anymore." Ava looked at me for a long moment. "Then I'm proud of him." We clinked glasses, and for the first time in years, I felt genuinely happy. Not the kind that comes from distraction, but the kind that comes from understanding. Later that night, as we walked along the quiet streets, she said softly, "You know, I used to hate her." "I know," I said. "But she made both of us stronger," she chuckled. "You really forgave her, didn't you?" "I did," I said, "because holding on would have kept me in the past." Ava slipped her hand into mine, not as a confession, not as a beginning, just a gesture that said, "You're not alone anymore." "I'm not the same man who waited by the phone," I said quietly. "Good," she whispered. "That man deserved more." When I returned home weeks later, I found the old bracelet again, the one Claire gave me under the oak tree. The string had frayed, one bead missing. I held it for a while, then placed it in a small box in my drawer, not as a memory of her, but as a marker of who I once was. That night, I wrote in my journal, something I hadn't done in years. Healing isn't forgetting. It's understanding why it hurt, and learning to walk forward anyway. I closed the notebook, feeling no heaviness, just calm. The next morning, I watched the sunrise from my balcony, coffee in hand, city humming awake below. My reflection in the glass smiled back, tired eyes, yes, but peaceful ones. Claire had been a chapter I thought would define me. But now I understood, she was just part of the story that led me to myself. Ava texted me then. "Coffee later?" I replied, "Always." And for once, the word didn't mean forever. It meant now, because that's who I am now. The man I became. The night air was calm, carrying the faint scent of grass and rain. I sat beneath the old oak tree again, the same one where everything once fell apart. Only this time my heart wasn't heavy. It was quiet, whole in a way I hadn't known was possible. Ava's voice drifted behind me. "You came here again." I turned and smiled. Couldn't stay away. This place saw me at my worst. Thought it deserved to see me at my best. She walked closer, her footsteps soft against the damp earth. "You always say that like you're two different people." "Maybe I am," I said. "The man who sat here before was lost. I think I finally found the pieces he dropped." Ava sat beside me, brushing her hair from her face. "You look..." "Lighter. I feel lighter," I exhaled. "For the first time, it doesn't hurt to remember." She tilted her head, eyes glinting in the moonlight. "Do you still think of her?" I hesitated. "Sometimes. But it's different now. It's like remembering an old wound. You don't feel the pain, just the lesson." Ava nodded, her expression soft. "That's healing, Ethan." "I never thought I'd get here," I admitted. For so long, I thought closure meant watching her fall. But it didn't. It meant watching myself rise. She smiled faintly. "That sounds like something a therapist would say." "Probably," I chuckled. "Guess some of it stuck." We sat in silence for a while, the leaves rustling above us. The stars blinked faintly through the branches, just like they did that first night, back when my world had just shattered. Only now those same stars looked gentle, forgiving. Ava leaned her head against my shoulder. "You know, I was scared to come here with you." "Why?" "Because this place was hers once," she said quietly. "I didn't want to feel like a replacement." "You're not," I said immediately. "You were never her shadow. You were the light that showed me I could step out of it." Her fingers brushed mine. "That's the kindest thing anyone's ever said to me." "It's the truest thing I've ever said," I replied. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The world felt perfectly still, as if it was waiting for something sacred to be said. "I never thought I'd find peace again," I murmured finally. Ava's voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Sometimes peace finds you when you stop searching for revenge." I smiled. "You always know the right thing to say." "Only because I've been where you were," she said. "Broken hearts recognize each other. We just learned to beat differently." Her words lingered, wrapping around me like warmth in the cool night air. I looked up at the stars, their quiet glow reflecting in my eyes. "It's strange, isn't it? I spent so long hating someone who doesn't even know I've forgiven her." "Do you need her to know?" she asked. "No," I said after a pause. "Forgiveness isn't for her. It's for me. It's letting go of the weight I kept dragging behind me." Ava squeezed my hand gently. "Then you did it. You made it through." "Maybe," I said. "But not alone," she smiled. "You didn't have to." The wind picked up slightly, stirring the leaves. I took one last look at the old tree, the place that had witnessed my breaking, my rage, my grief, and now, my peace. "I used to think love was about holding on," I said quietly. "Now I think it's about knowing when to let go." Ava's eyes softened. "And did you?" "Yes." I looked toward the horizon where the faint glow of dawn touched the sky. "I finally did." She rested her head back on my shoulder, and I felt her breathe, calm and steady. The stars were fading into the coming light, and I realized how symbolic it all felt. Darkness giving way to something new. I whispered, almost to myself, "Goodbye, Claire." Ava's hand tightened around mine, but she didn't speak. She didn't have to. "Thank you," I continued softly, "for breaking me just enough to rebuild me better." The world around me seemed to exhale. The night, the oak, the sky, all of it felt like it was closing a book I'd finally finished reading. Ava smiled, and I smiled back. There was no grand declaration, no promise of forever, just peace. Under that vast sky, where once I'd lost everything, I finally understood what it meant to be free.